Hello there YouTube, it's Victor, King of the Morons on the Give Me Flickman channel with a JNEWS video. It's been a week since I've done any kind of video for this channel. I've been extremely busy. I know that you don't care, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's my channel. I can do what I want. I can cry if I want. But actually it was so bad this week. I was working, I used to work like this all the time, but you know, it's good to have the work, you know, occasionally. It's a challenge, but I had like 9-hour teaching days this week. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. And I didn't cry. But as it is past midnight, and I don't have a beer today, so I'm going to drink a little of this. What is this? Purakyu? What's choya? It's choya. It's umeshu, which is one of my favorite drinks. Which it's a bit inappropriate because it looks like I'm celebrating, and I'm not celebrating. I'm just relaxing. And I like to bring you some news, some JNEWS. So let me get a sip in here first. Very sweet, but as you can see, those are umes in there. Ume is a plum. If you eat them when they're not in sake, when they're not in alcohol, or they're in some kind of alcohol, they're very, very sour, and they make me really pucker up. But anyway, today I'd like to talk to you about stalking. In Japan, there's been a really high-profile case that it's actually pretty interesting. Let me tell you how I first heard about this case. I was watching the news with Yoko, my wife. We were sitting on the couch watching, you know, just taking it easy. And they start talking about how this horrible story about this girl who had been stabbed in Tokyo, right outside of Tokyo. Or in Tokyo, I'm not sure. But anyway, Tokyo area. A place I've never been. But one of my students actually grew up in. So not that matters, but she tells me it's a pretty nice little neighborhood. And this 18-year-old girl, cats are making love outside, I don't know if you can hear that, but 18-year-old girl was stabbed, neck was cut, stabbed in the neck, and witnesses claim that the attacker looked like a gaijin. That's a cat, can you hear that? God, I want to cry, I hate those things when they're doing that noise. Anyway, they claimed that he was a gaijin, and then the police said, but he was Japanese. And my wife and I looked at each other like, wow, Japanese are both racist, are so racist. We thought, like, can you believe that? Everyone's claiming he looked like a gaijin, and turns out he was Japanese, you know. And I thought, wow, that's kind of sad, funny, you know. But here's the thing: he is actually half. So he is technically Japanese, but he's actually a half. And they're parading his face all over the news. I'll show you a picture. It's obviously a foreigner. But the funny thing is I was showing, and again, funny, strange, I was showing that we were talking about this in the class. You know, sometimes I'll show like a news report in Japanese in the classroom. It's good teaching technique, by the way. And they have to tell me what happened in English. And usually it's some high profile case and everyone kind of knows the story anyway. So the video that I show is just a little mind jogger to get them going, right? Anyway, but the students were saying, oh, he's kind of handsome. And I was like, wow, I really do not understand the concept of handsome. And I don't know about other guys, and most of you guys watching this are men or purportedly men. Yeah, and I really cannot tell who is handsome. Like, there are some guys in my school who I think are, hey, he's kind of handsome. And I'll tell the girls, don't you think he's kind of handsome? They're like, no, no, I don't think so. But anyway, back to the subject. So it turns out the guy is actually half Japanese, and it's a bizarre case. It's it's like a movie. Okay, so I don't know exactly the details, but he's dating this guy. Oh yeah, he's got a name like George Charles or something. And my students were asking me like, what kind of name is George Charles from? And I thought it sounds American or British, but turns out he's half Filipino. Okay, and they dated they had dated before. And, oh yeah, his name is Charles Thomas Ikenaga, and he's 21 years old. He's from Kyoto. Oh, there's not much information about him except that they dated. The victim's name is, I think, Saaya Suzuki. Is it Saaya Suzuki? And, yeah, Saaya Suzuki. And they met on Facebook 2 years ago. So there you go, Facebook, you know. Apparently meeting people on Facebook will get you killed. So watch out. They dated until about a year ago, then they broke up. And she is an aspiring idol. She has her picture. It had been submitted to some kind of group where, you know, these I don't know what, like a talent agency, I guess you would call it. And so there's some nice pictures around the internet of her. She's a very, very pretty girl. Lovely looking little girl. Anyway, so they had dated, and he had found an unlocked window in her house, and he'd snuck in, and he was hiding in her closet. Okay. Now, I'm just repeating this there's no point in me reading the article word for word, so I'll link it in the description and you can look at it. But from what I remember, the news report, he was hiding in the closet when she called the police. And then, and she called the police because I guess he'd been bugging her already, right? And the police said there was not much we can do. But he overheard the conversation, and he was infuriated, and he came out and he stabbed her in the house. And then later he snuck out, and I remember they showed like an animation of 3 cops like tackling this guy in the street. So they got him later, and he said, "Yeah, it's me, machigai nai." He said the expression "machigai nai desu." I'm the one who did it. I did it. And when you see him walking to the police car, they captured him. He looks very calm, like nothing's bugging him at all. It's bizarre. Of course, this is true of sociopaths, right? I mean, they're all like that, right? They've got no problem. They kill somebody, and it's not like I would be shaking like, oh my God, I killed somebody. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was upset, But anyway. So here's interesting information about this. According to the article that I was reading, there's a new stalking law that gives the police more strength, or more power to deal with stalkers. And first of all, let me read you the definition of stalking. According to Wikipedia, it says in Japan, in the year 2000, Japan enacted a national law to combat stalking after the murder of Shiori Ino. Okay, which I'll get to in a minute. Here's how they define stalking. Acts of stalking can be viewed as interfering with the tranquility of others' lives and are prohibited under petty offense laws. So according to that, some of you guys are stalking me. Because you're interfering with. I'm trying to tranquilly make my videos, and you haters and your idiots, stupid questions, really getting in the way. But actually, this anti-stalking law does not extend to Facebook or other social networks, which is ironic, because this is kind of the loophole where this guy met her through Facebook. But anyway. So let's go back to the murder of Shiori Ino, where all this started. This is back in 1999. Now, the Shiori Ino case that in 2000 that apparently inspired this law. It's a pretty interesting case, and I'll also link that in the description. But give you a quick summary. So there's this young lady. She's a university student, and she's being pursued by this guy. He's like a thug. Okay, he's got his hands in all this businesses. He's like, I'm rich and powerful, and he starts giving her all these gifts, and he's like not interested, but he keeps giving her these gifts, and he's like, you better. She's like, I don't want them, and he screams at her when she rejects them, and he won't take no. He won't take no. He goes to her house. He starts harassing the family. And he threatens to hurt her younger brother, who's like an elementary school student or something. I don't know, but it's ridiculous, right? She goes to the police, and the Saitama they come to the house and they threaten her family, and she records it all, and then she goes to the police and presents it. And apparently, one of the police officers was like, "Oh, this is terrible." One of the younger, more enthusiastic, police officers. But the other guys are like, nah, well, we can't do anything. I mean, you accepted all these expensive gifts, so obviously, it looks bad, and it looks like you're just using him, right? Anyway, this goes on, and the rejected lover, the spurned lover, hires a hitman for like 20 million yen, which is like, what is that, like 20 million, 10 million? That's hold on, 1 million is $10,000. So wow, like, is that right? $200,000? That's a lot of money. And he goes off to Okinawa to build his alibi case, right? And he hires these hitmen, I think they're 3 brothers or something. It's something ridiculous. Anyway, they're harassing her, and long story short, they do kill her. They stab her, and the police try to cover up the whole thing. They're like, oh no, she was a hostess, and she was asking for it, and she was she's like a prostitute. They made her look bad, and it was really bad. It was horrible. But it's when when intrepid reporter uncovered the whole case and exposed it and published it in, I think, Focus magazine. And anyway, the whole Saitama prefectural police ended up having to apologize to the family. They had to pay a little money, but they didn't. And the family sued for more. But a couple courts. I think one court ruled that the police were not liable for the murder, and another court upheld that decision. So it sucks. It's a terrible story. The only good that comes out of this is that they enacted this this anti-stalking law. Okay, so that started up, and that was thanks to Shiori Ino. So you can look it up on Wikipedia. I'll have links in the description. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Okay, let's see, just recently, where was this? There's another law here. Okay, so that's the 2000 anti-stalking law. Now, in 2012, in Kanagawa Prefecture, there's another case. A young lady in her 20s is harassed repeatedly through email by her former boyfriend. So basically, all your former boyfriends are, if you're going to get killed, it's going to be a former boyfriend. Yeah. Anyway, thousands of emails are sent. She goes to the police. They say, well, there's nothing we can do about that because the original law only covered fax, phone call, and following someone physically. So if you're following someone, that's against the law, according to the 2000 stalking law, anti-stalking law. And if you're faxing them and calling them, that's harassment. But there's nothing about emails, okay? So last year, this woman in where was it? Zushi, Kanagawa, she gets thousands of emails. She goes to the police. They do nothing. She's eventually killed. So this year, they added emails to the list of criminal actions that you can be arrested for. But even with that, even with that stalking happening, even if you are guilty of that, the police are first supposed to give you a verbal warning before they do anything. So check that out. First, there's a verbal warning. You know, that sucks, right? Anyway, and this year in August, actually, just 2 months ago, a 40-year-old man named Keiji Shirakawa was arrested for sending 23 menacing emails to a female coworker, despite her asking him to stop. That's according to Fuji Television. So I'll put that in the description. He's the first man to be arrested on this under this new anti-stalking law. So that's the way stalking works in Japan. Yeah, it's a horrible story. I just wanted to comment on it. For one thing, because of what I thought was funny, that I initially thought Japanese were being racist by claiming that he was a foreigner, but actually it turns out it was a foreigner. And not to badmouth all Filipinos, but you know, I was walking out of my school today, and these two Filipinos were walking down, and not that we see many Filipinos, but they're walking down the street right in front of my school, and the guy had gotten a bag of he had you know, like a plastic bag like this, and he had bento in it. He was taking it out, and he was taking the plastic off and just throwing it just over his shoulder right on the ground. And I'm like, really right in front of my school, you know? And I'm like, I live here. Don't do that shit. And something interesting. I wanted to bring this up. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons. Ren, who is a Milk Jam Juice on YouTube, she put something on Facebook about some guy that was filming her on the subway. And he was filming her, so she took out her cell phone and she filmed him back. And I saw that and I said, you know, I've used my cell phone as a weapon, and what I mean by that is when people are doing things that they shouldn't be, I just take out my phone and I say, you better stop that or I'm going to film you and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And they always stop because nobody wants to be on YouTube. Now these two kids, there were two of them. I was pretty furious because littering, you know, I know that sounds ridiculous to you. I was pretty pissed off.
Assholes throwing garbage in the fucking street. Throw some more garbage, asshole. Come on. Fucking assholes.
Because it wasn't like, you know, they were just throwing garbage all over the street, right? I'm like, why did you even take the bag? Come on. I mean, there's a garbage can right at the 1 block away at the convenience store. I could see it half a block away. So I filmed them and I yelled at them, and they pretended to not care, but they wouldn't say anything. They wouldn't really react until they got to the end of the block. They were far away from me. And then they turned around and they said, fuck you. And I really shouldn't be that angry for littering. I know it's silly. And I showed the video to my wife when I got back, and she's like, "Are you still doing that?" But here's the point. If you are being hassled in Japan, if you feel that you are being, or anywhere in the world, this works for anywhere. Use your cell phone. Take out that cell phone, turn it on, and start filming them, and tell them I'm filming you. So you better stop that. I think it's a great way to stop somebody from harassing you. Anyway, that's my video for tonight. I have 1,000 ideas for videos, 1,000 things I want to talk to you guys about, but I got to go now. I'm going to the Sayuri live tomorrow night. She's going to be in Nagoya. If you got to the end of the video and you like live music, tell me who you like to see live, and that way I'll know you got to the end. And everyone else, be safe. All right. And if you're a guy and if you're in love with a girl, dude, I've been there. Really, I've been there. I've been deep in the I'm about to turn into a stalker because I love you so much and why did you break up with me phase many, many years ago. That bitch. Okay, just kidding. No, but seriously, if you're in that case, guys, man, just stop it. Look, just let go. You're gonna feel better. I understand. It hurts, and that bitch doesn't deserve you, okay? I don't really think she's a bitch to everyone else watching this, but you really going to the stalking, going to the harassing, emailing and hanging up. Oh yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know if that's more of a Western thing or a Japanese thing, but they have a word for it in Japanese. It's called mugondenwa. Mugondenwa is the Japanese translation is silent call, but it's when you call someone and hang up on them, okay? And apparently that's a big thing in Japan. Yeah, I don't think it's that big a deal in the States. I mean, don't people just harass you or just breathe or something? But they do it a lot here, okay? Yeah, so don't do shit like that. Just let go, man. Just let go. Do whatever you have to. Exercise. Get it out of your system. Drink safely. Don't drink and drive like I did because I was, so upset. But don't become one of those stalkers. Really, if you need. Talk to somebody, man. Talk to your buddies. Talk to your bros. Okay, that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.